a fire going on in California. I'm going to cover it for a little while. It's 20 minutes of 8 Eastern time.
You're out laying back at me. Your lips speak like mystery. But I can't.
Because we know they're expected to really kick up come 6 p.m.
Yeah, I'd say it's been fairly consistent for much of the afternoon anyway. I'd estimate gusts 30, 40 miles an hour with a consistent, 10 to 15 mile an hour wind. You might be able to hear it right now if I just pause for a second. Possibly you can hear that. But again, the flames, it seems like, and I don't want to be too optimistic as another helicopter comes in for a drop. Look how low they get. Wow. Right on top of the flames. I mean, that's a 10 out of 10 right there. And they're flying right out over us. Very impressive. I mean, look at that. And another one comes in behind it. You can just tell, I mean, how consistently they're coming in helicopter after helicopter, putting these drops on these flames and trying to get the spread to slow down as it pushes to the southwest. And then they're just really overwhelming it with all of the air support and the firefighters on the ground. It's really just remarkable to see and to watch. I wouldn't even call it defense at this point. I'd call it firefighters on offense, trying to get this to slow down.
Yeah, we see the dozer up there on the ridge top, and that was back-to-back 10 out of 10s, I'd say, on those water drops. And it's interesting to see how low they do get. Another aircraft here. It looks like LA County Fire, if I'm not mistaken. All right, Matthew, we're going to hop on the line with the animal control manager for LA County Animal Care, Public Information Officer Chris Valles. Did I get that right?
Yes, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. So we see a whole lot of terrain being chewed up. We know at least 31,000 people are under evacuation. That's per officials who we talked to live on the air. A lot of these people have animals. So what do you want them to know?
So first things first, if you have any time, if you are given an evacuation warning, please take that as a notice to leave. If you're ordered, please don't stay behind. If you do have to leave, make sure that you have an animal emergency kit, and this should include leashes, blankets, water, pet information such as microchip or any type of vet information, or any medication that the animal needs to have. Second, if you are impacted by the fire, we are accepting small animals at the Lancaster and Palmdale Animal Care Center, and any large animals at Pierce College Equestrian Center.
Yeah, that's in Woodland Hills. That often serves for the large animals. I just want to make sure our information is correct. We also heard Agora Animal Care Center. Is that true?
So Agora Animal Care Center, we were accepting animals, but they are at capacity at this moment.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. So at this point in time, for the small pets, it's Lancaster and Palmdale. Lancaster and Palmdale. You, I'm sure, have in all of our coverage in the last couple of weeks for Palisades and Eaton, a lot of our coverage has focused on the animals. So, how has that been for you over the last 2 weeks? And are your shelters prepared for another influx like this?
That's a quick question. Yes. So we're very well rehearsed when it comes to incidents like this. So we're always prepared, as we know that there is no fire season. It's year round, so we're always prepared. We were prepared for the Eaton fire as well as the Palisades. We were just recovering, but we're able to handle the influx with the animals that are impacted by the Hughes fire.
We appreciate so much. This is Christine Devine joining you here with the coverage. I understand that we're all kind of a little extra prepared given these past two fires that we had kind of all at the standby, they're ready for however it affects our lives. So tell me, are you seeing or getting many phone calls about people planning to perhaps come to see you, or how does that work? Do they just show up?
Yes. So if again, if they're impacted by the fire and they've been displaced with their pets and they don't have a place to go, they you can go to our website at animalcare.lacounty.gov, where you can see where any of our animal sheltering sites are available to anybody who's been displaced.
That's wonderful.
Yes, Chris Vaez with Los Angeles County Animal Shelter. Thank you so much. So many people and their furry friends are concerned right now, so we appreciate you jumping on the line with us. Let's get to Robert Moses now. He is at a Rouse parking lot where the students, they've organized a makeshift evacuation center or drive. What's going on there?
That's right. This was a meeting point for some students from Castaic who were evacuated from their schools. This is where parents could come and pick them up. And I just met Terry and Valerie, who evacuated from their home in Castaic earlier. Guys, thanks for taking a couple minutes. Terry, I want to start with you. When did you make the decision that we had to go?
Well, I'd been home just about 5 minutes when Valerie texted me that there was a fire by the lake, and I went outside, saw it, and probably like for about an hour, I was packing stuff up, and I kind of had a mental list of what I needed just because of watching, you know, people who just had gone through this. So I kind of had a mental note, just made a pile, packed it up, got the dog. Yeah.
What was that like, walking out, not knowing what you might come back to?
You know, I had thought about that just this past week, and thinking like the same, like what, you know, our fellow, you know, Los Angeles people have to do now. And I didn't think it would happen to us, but yeah, here we are. I got the important stuff. I got them. Yeah.
An emotional day, clearly.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I can't imagine going back to the neighborhood and not seeing my house there.
We were in Altadena, obviously, the last couple of days, and just seeing the devastation is amazing. I sure hope that doesn't befall you guys. Did you do any did you wet down the brush? Did you wet down your roof? Did you take any of those steps before you left?
Like last ditch, he put the sprinklers on, hosed down one of the palm trees. But yeah, we were packing and we were getting ready to leave the whole time.
And Valerie, what's this like for you? Again, not knowing what you might go back to.
Yeah, it's just I grew up in this house like this. I've only ever lived in Castaic, and I'm 18. So it's definitely really sad. I mean, all my friends live here too. I had friends who got evacuated as well. So we've been kind of checking in on each other.
Did all your neighbors decide to leave like you guys?
Yeah, we had like police officers, like they were like prepare to evacuate. And I left my class early when I saw other kids that lived in my same neighborhood leaving early as well. And we were just going to our cars and just trying to like get home to get our stuff and help our families. But yeah, they were like, I was telling everyone prepare to evacuate, and then eventually they were like, this is mandatory evacuating. So we just put our stuff in the car and left.
So Terry, as you were looking out the window, did you see this thing just leaping rapidly?
You know, it's funny. My neighbor and I had just walked around the lake, and I had just been home 2 or 3 minutes when she texted me, and I said, no, we just walked around the lake. There was nothing there. And I went outside. I looked down the street. I didn't see anything. And I went to the backyard, and then that's when I saw the smoke. And yeah, it was fast. And I went and got my husband up, and yeah, it just, from there, we just were on go. Mm-hmm.
So what are the plans for the rest of the night and the foreseeable future?
I mean, we have family in Burbank that we'll go to tonight if we can't get back in. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Past that, I don't know.
It's got to just be a helpless feeling looking up that hill.
Definitely. It is. Mm-hmm. It's scary not knowing, you know, it is.
You guys know anyone who decided to stay?
No, actually, yeah, all our neighbors next door across the street, they were like, we were just like, are you guys good? Are you good? Okay, let's go. We all pretty much left around the same time.
Well, obviously, what's there can be replaced. I know it's such a hard day, but thanks for taking a couple minutes. Anything else you want to communicate to people who are watching?
Yeah, just to stay alert, stay safe. Evacuating's important. Like, just be prepared for sure.
One last thing, how did you, I just can't imagine, how did you decide what to take? I mean, how did you prioritize that?
Well, like I said, just watching the news coverage this past week, and you'd see people say, oh, I wish I had grabbed this, or I wish I would have grabbed that, or I'm glad I grabbed this. And I just I had it in my mind, like a mental list of, things I would grab if it happened. And today I just said, okay, this is happening. And I just went, got the stuff, made a pile, and I did it. Yeah.
Well, I wish you guys the best. Thanks for taking a couple minutes on a really hard day, and I'm just hoping and praying that everything is intact when you go back. But most of all, I'm glad you guys are safe.
Thank you.
Well, stay safe. And I just want to, if we can take a little walk over this way, guys, thank you. We can get a better view of the fire right along the 5. And if we pop out this way, I'm just going to guide Andrew over here, and you can see the smoke coming into view, and some of the evacuees just watching. When we were coming here, we saw a line of probably 4 or 5 fire engines racing north on the 5, heading into what could be a very, very prolonged firefight as this night goes on. I'll send it back to you.
Hey, Robert, since this was organized by students there, and you were just talking to one, you should also know that Castaic Union School District announced that all schools will be closed tomorrow. You may have already gotten that tidbit of information, but just in case you hadn't, we're just getting word that Castaic Union School District schools will be closed tomorrow. That's Thursday, January 23rd. Probably not a huge surprise given the enormity of the situation and the fire itself.
And I have to say, I mean, the uncertainty, I mean, just looking in the eyes of Terry and Valerie as they spoke, not knowing, what they might go back to, but hoping and praying that their home and their neighbors' homes are still intact. But with that smoke billowing, there's just no telling what could happen. And you heard Terry say that, she looked out her window and she thought, what's the big deal? There's no real problem here. And how quickly this escalated within just a few minutes, from 100 acres to 500 to 3,000 and now 5,000 plus. And I hate to say this, but the winds are stiffening here, and hopefully that's not a harbinger of things to come. But from what Star has been telling us and the other information we have, it sure seems like this could be a tough night ahead.
Well, we should note the good news, having been on the air since 11 o'clock here, Fox 11 has not seen one structure burn. So they've done a really great job with the aerial attack on this one. If that gives that family any comfort to know that the difference here is you don't have those 100-mile-per-hour winds, and you do have that aerial attack. All right, joining us on the ground now is Haley Winslow with her perspective. Haley?
So we're on the south end of Castaic Lake, so essentially the opposite side of where the fire started, but where, of course, it's heading. So you can see the dozers have done a really nice job of trying to build these fire lines and stop the fire from continuing to spread to now more than 8,000 acres. There's kind of like a very uncomfortable, ominous silence right now, but we've obviously had LA County fire helicopters flying overhead. They've been dropping water, of course, the dozers you can hear in the distance. And every time you kind of get a big, heavy piece of machinery come by, it's really sad to see all the wildlife kind of scatter, what's left of, a bunny or the birds in the sky, just trying to get away from all of this fire. So we talked to some inmates earlier that were on the fire lines. I've covered a lot of wildfires over 20 years, but I've never quite been in the situation we were in earlier, where we were completely surrounded by flames as these inmates were essentially trying to get the fire to go back to where it started. So they were igniting the dry brush and trying to kind of get the fire to run backwards where it came from. Pretty remarkable work there from Santa Cruz, and they did an amazing job and essentially saved the Castaic RV parks. We talked to them earlier about what they were doing and their remarkable job. Last 5 minutes or so, yeah, what they're trying to do is burn the fire back. They're lighting literally this brush on fire so that it doesn't hit the RV park and then it actually blows back the other way. So it's been pretty remarkable. Did you guys get everybody out?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so they got everybody out. There's it was unbelievable. So you can see them dropping the ignite fuel on the brush, and then it's just catching on fire, and they're hoping that it's going to blow back the other way, spread back the other way, and not keep going towards these mobile homes. But pretty incredible work by these inmates from Santa Cruz, these heroes.
When you just asked them if they got everybody out, were you referring to the RV park itself?
No, I was referring to the inmates. So there were a couple dozen of them back there, and they kind of ran forward really fast before the flames got them. So I was just making sure all of them got out okay.
Got it. Okay. So this is their assignment for the day, at least for now. This inmate crew from Santa Cruz is doing its part to cut the lines there and to prevent the fire from going further into the RV park.
Why not?
This is what you're hoping for?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, talk to me about what you guys just did.
We basically met the fire to the rest of it by drip torching.
Looks pretty good, you guys. Good work. That was remarkable. I've never seen anything like that.
Awesome. Thank you. We appreciate it.
And you're hoping that it blows back the other way?
Yeah, for sure it will. For sure it will.
For sure it will, they said. So if that works, they just saved all of these RVs and all these people that are counting on them. So really, really heroic work. So they did an incredible job, but unfortunately it did actually jump the line a little bit. So if it weren't for them, they definitely saved the day, but it did jump the line a little bit. And then they had some water drops that kind of helped out. So they were coming at it from different directions. So definitely a joint team effort that saved the Castaic RV park. They were yelling for their friend Winston earlier, who they weren't sure had made it back. So that's what we were worried about. But they got everyone out. As far as we know, the Castaic RV park is still okay. And they are just continuing to fight this fire that's now exploded to 8,000 acres. Justin showed you a minute ago the sun setting over the hill now as it's starting to get dark. The winds have calmed for a little bit, but they're definitely going to pick up tonight to 40, even possibly 55-mile-per-hour gusts. As here's in Castaic is under a red flag warning until Friday at about 10 o'clock in the morning. So just a bad recipe for disaster for these fire conditions, with it being so dry and warm and not a whole lot of recovery overnight for our low relative humidity. So you can see the flames really starting to pick up there on the hillside as this helicopter is making its way around towards us, and the winds out of the northeast, of course, blowing the fire towards the southwest. Let's see what they're going to do. Here they go. Let's watch them go straight towards it. And nice. Beautiful work. All right, see what a difference that made. All right, this is Haley Winslow reporting from the southern end of Castaic Lake. I'll send it back to you guys. Nicely done.
Yeah, such a welcome sight to see them fight that from the air. Haley, I got to think that as you reflect on interviewing that inmate crew as they went in and did the work they did, how wonderful it is that we have not seen a structure burn yet in this fire, and that's a wonderful thing. They've been really trying to keep that fire from entering into these communities, and that RV park was one of the first ones to have that fire line approach. So job well done. You got to witness it all.
Yeah, and they came from the Palisades fire, so this isn't their first rodeo. They finally thought that they were heading home. You know, they're from Santa Cruz, and little did they know, they, I guess, got rerouted, and they went straight from fighting the Palisades fire, you know, with a whole, not much of a break, to now coming here to Lake Hughes. But I did talk to, they were so nice. I dropped everything out of my pockets, was falling out as we were running with them, and one of the inmates found me, and he's like, here, this is all your stuff that was in the dry brush. But a couple of them said that they were thinking about doing a career change, because they were so excited by what they had been able to do here and in the Palisades.
Yeah, really inspiring story. Many of them out there because there were dozens. We watched them arrive right outside that RV park and unload from those their trucks. All right, Haley, we're going to let you go because we're minutes away, less than, if it starts on time, for that 5 p.m. presser held at College of the Canyons with LA County Fire, Angeles National Forest, and CAL FIRE on hand to bring us up to date. It is set to start at 5 p.m. You see officials there gathering. You can see LA County Fire Chief Maroney and LA County Sheriff Robert Luna. They're doing a mic check right now.
Good afternoon.
Let's go ahead and listen in
to the joint press conference for the Hughes Fire. We're going to announce Chief Maroney. He's going to start it off, and then he's going to subsequently, they're going to announce each other. We have Fire Chief Maroney, Sheriff Robert Luna, Rick Garcia, Joe Tyler, and the Mayor of Santa Clarita, Bill Miranda. We'll start this press conference off with Fire Chief Anthony Maroney.
Chief of Board Chair and 5th District Supervisor Catherine Barger, we're holding a press conference to give important information to the community of Santa Clarita and the Castaic area. I am Anthony Maroney, Chief of the Los Angeles County Fire Department. The Hughes Fire is now estimated to be over 9,400 acres, 0% containment, with no structures reported damaged or destroyed. We have over 4,000 firefighting personnel assigned to the incident, and we had a very robust ground and air response to the incident that you see behind me. The LA County Fire Department is in unified command with the Angeles National Forest, and we are getting assistance from our state partners at CAL FIRE. I wanted to give a weather update because the weather is what's predominantly driving this fire and its spread right now. The National Weather Service has extended the red flag warning through 10 a.m. on Friday for most of Los Angeles and Ventura counties. Light to moderate Santa Ana winds and into Thursday. The situation remains dynamic, and the fire remains a difficult fire to contain, although we are getting the upper hand. I would now like to invite up Los Angeles County Sheriff Robert Luna to give an update on evacuations and the closure of the I-5. Thank you.
Good evening to everybody, and thank you, Chief Maroney. So for us, obviously in unified command with our partners at the fire department from the very beginning of this fire incident. And right now, the numbers that I have is that we have approximately 31,000 people who are affected by our evacuation orders, another 23,000 that are impacted by evacuation warnings. Along with the work that our deputies have been doing, and you've seen them going from neighborhood to neighborhood, making sure that we are protecting the neighborhoods to make sure nobody gets hurt, traffic ingress and egress. And also, unfortunately, when we talk about fires, our staff knows that immediately they start what we call looter suppression, just to make sure that no one's coming into the area to take advantage when people are evacuating their homes. So I want to make sure people know that if you leave your homes, there will be additional deputies working out there in the neighborhoods to make sure your homes are safe. In regards to staffing, we are staffing up. You hear sirens in the distance. They're not only fire apparatus, but you see deputies coming in from different parts of the county. You see our incident management team over my left shoulder setting up with the big trailers that will assume responsibility for this incident from the sheriff's department perspective. And again, in unified command with all of our partners. We have what I estimate well over 400 personnel total regarding this incident and managing other incidences around the county of Los Angeles. I do want to bring your attention to the fact that during this incident, one of the areas that initially was an evacuation warning that did turn into an evacuation order was our Pitches Detention Center, which is not too far from here. The Pitches Detention Center has actually 3 different facilities. One of the facilities was evacuated. In discussing this with our partners from the fire department who are experts in this area, they recommended and we agreed that the one facility, PD South, would be evacuated. That had approximately 476 inmates. We moved those inmates to another facility on the campus. The other 2 campuses are structured much better than the one that we evacuated from. But total on the entire campus, we have approximately 4,500 inmates, a little over that. We do have a plan in place in case the fire conditions, our fire partners would advise if it gets worse, whether it's whatever it be, a plan in place to evacuate the rest of the inmates on the entire facility if we absolutely had to. Other than that, it's a newer incident and it's evolving. It's going to change. We're ready for just about anything, which, by the way, includes being prepared for any other incident that would break, God forbid, anywhere in the county of Los Angeles. I do want to report that the 5 freeway has been closed, but I'm told that after this press conference, for a variety of reasons, we will reopen the freeway. So that people can go back and forth. Again, I do want to reiterate that if you do not live in this area and you're following the smoke, you want to go see what the firefighters are doing, turn on the television set. Do not drive into these areas. You're impacting the ingress and egress of emergency vehicles. We don't need more traffic. We want less traffic. We don't want you walking around in the impacted areas to impact the community members who live here. And with that, I'm going to introduce Chief Robert Garcia from the U.S. Forest Service.
Good evening. Just want to first say thank you to Sheriff Luna and Fire Chief Maroney and Director Joe Tyler for the partnership. This incident started out in the early part of the day, as Chief Maroney indicated, and this is in a mutual threat zone. So Los Angeles County Fire Department and the Angeles National Forest entered into unified command right away. And I also want to say that how extremely proud I am of the way our responders moved into this area and established command and really established some incident objectives working together. The conditions that we're under aren't as severe as what we've been facing over the last week or two. But what you saw today is indicative of the conditions that we're in terms of the vegetation. So although we're not under particularly dangerous situation in terms of the wind, our wildland fire condition is critical. Absent wind, the fire is going to move through the vegetation like you saw today with the slope and chasing fuel. Very dangerous conditions as to what led to the U.S. Forest Service closing all of the Angeles National Forest, and this is exactly an example why. The other thing I want to offer in terms of resources, I hope that all the citizens here in the area are proud of the pre-positioning and the robust response. This area always sees a robust response in the mutual threat zone, but our incidents between the Eaton, the Palisades, our local mobilization centers, our pre-positioned resources put us in a position for multiple waves of surge resources, both engine crews on the ground, hand crews, bulldozers, and aircraft. And so the response you see is a result of the local cooperation and the local pre-planning in the geographic area, not only within the LA area, but also with our partners in the state of California to ensure that we are prepared for what we're now facing. With that, I'm going to turn over the mic to the director of CAL FIRE from Sacramento, Director Joe Tyler.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joe Tyler. I'm the Director and Fire Chief of CAL FIRE. Normally, my office is located in Sacramento, but I have found the need over the last 2 weeks to spend my time here in the greater Los Angeles area. We have been impacted significantly over the last 2 weeks, as we all know, related to the Palisades fire, the Eaton fire, the Hearst fire, the Lydia fire. And as we continue through these weather conditions, we recognize that it's not over yet. We recognize that we still have a couple of days to go. So the state of California brings its full force of the women and men of CAL FIRE, supporting the Los Angeles County Fire Department, our local fire agencies, the Angeles National Forest and the Forest Service abroad, as well as our law enforcement partners who are doing so much to respond to all of these emergencies together. Cal OES has utilized funds to bring together pre-positioned resources across Southern California, and the California National Guard has located aircraft, both rotor wing helicopters and fixed wings, mobile or modular MAFS units to be able to supplement the air tankers that we have here available locally. This fire had a robust response today. And as you can see behind us, the responders are doing great work to try to contain this fire. Certainly, we are not out of the woods yet. It is important to take heed and caution and follow the directions of local law enforcement, your first responders, as they are asking you to evacuate the area. Doing that will allow our fire resources to be able to conduct perimeter control and extinguish the flaming front of this fire. Many times we find ourselves trying to rescue evacuees. But today, the community heeded that lesson and many evacuated the area, allowing them to fight the fire. We will continue to be here to support, not only now, but as we move into the next phase with the potential of rains coming forward and trying to mitigate the landscape to avoid debris flows and flooding. We will be here for you. I want to take the opportunity now to invite the Mayor of Santa Clarita, Bill Miranda, to the podium.
Thank you very much. I'm City of Santa Clarita Mayor Bill Miranda. We just cannot say enough about the work our first responders have done over the past couple of weeks and the work that they are currently doing just north of the city. In the wake of the devastation that tore through Los Angeles, claiming homes and lives, understandably, everyone is on heightened alert and all too aware of the damage these fires can cause. I want to reemphasize the importance of listening to our first responders and paying attention to the emergency alerts. If your area is under evacuation warning or order, please, if it's a warning, prepared to evacuate. If it's an order, evacuate now. Don't wait 10 minutes and see what's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to change in 10 minutes. We want you to evacuate now. Do not hesitate. Do not stay. Grab the necessary items and leave as quickly as you can. And when we mention grab the necessary items, we're talking about critical papers or critical medicine that you may need. We're not talking about packing a suitcase. We're talking about packing a backpack and having it ready. We can imagine the stress and extreme conditions our first responders have been under during this unprecedented time. Do your part to help them. And the best way you can do that is to evacuate. Our city is unified. Our city is in unified command with the Los Angeles County Fire Department and the Sheriff's Department. We're working together to ensure that our residents are safe and minimize potential damage to homes and businesses. All city recreation and community services have been canceled for the rest of the day. Our Santa Clarita transit buses are running behind schedule because of the traffic due to the evacuations. I encourage all of you, if you are safe, not in an evacuation zone, please stay home and off our city streets. We need our streets open for evacuees to safely leave and for first responders to get in. Please do your part to help these fighting the Hughes Fire. I want to end with our heartfelt thanks to the firefighters, the Sheriff's Department, deputies, and other first responders. Your efforts have been nothing but heroic. From the city of Santa Clarita, we say thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Now we're going to do question and answer with the media. And after we are finished with this, we will have breakout sessions and we will provide Spanish interviews as well. First question.
Thank you. What's the plan for the night and into the morning?
Chief Marnie?
So we've already developed the day and the night plan with our unified partners. We are going to be on scene all night long, gaining more perimeter control, making sure that we can put out the hot spots, and then have enough resources and staging that if we do have a flare up, we can move those resources to the fire line. So we already have a plan for tonight and making orders for tomorrow.
Keep up more plans for the night, like specifics.
Regarding number of resources or job assignments,
Yes.
we're going to keep the 4,000 firefighters assigned to the incident. We're going to increase our perimeter control, and we're going to extinguish those hot spots. So those would be the tasks. Yeah.
Sheriff, if you could describe the decision making to first close the I-5 and now reopen. What changed that allowed you to reopen that particular byway?
So working with our partners at the California Highway Patrol, we needed to have better ingress and egress for emergency vehicles coming through the 5 freeway corridor. I believe that we've gotten a lot of the equipment that we need here for the rest of the evening. Obviously, that could change, that could be modified. So we want to give the 5 back to our community so they can get through here as safely and as efficiently as they possibly can.
And is anything on the way of Interstate 5 that puts those drivers at risk at all, or are you concerned at all about what the traffic will look like?
Always concerned about hazards coming in out north and south. As far as I know now, we don't see any hazards, but the winds are what they are. I'm not a fire expert, but we listen to our fire experts. And if the winds shift, fire behavior does whatever it does. And if at any time we believe that our community may be in peril because of that wind or fire behavior, we'll close it again. I say we'll close it again. It's our partners at the California Highway Patrol who usually do that, and they do an excellent job at that.
Amanda Starantino, KCAL. Chief Maroney, I have 2 questions. A lot of people are on edge after the last couple of weeks and what we've seen happen in Altadena and the Palisades. How does this fire here, the Hughes fire, compare to what we've seen the last couple of weeks?
Well, I think that we've all been on edge over the last 16 days, and we've had numerous fires start at Los Angeles County. The response between the Forest and the LA County resources, in addition to the state resources that were pre-deployed, we had 2 strike teams in the Santa Clarita area. We were able to amass a lot of fire resources early on to change what this fire looks like. Just 3 or 4 hours ago, the smoke was laying across the 5 freeway. That's what necessitated but also the ability to fight the fire from the air. The winds were strong, but they were not those 70, 80, 90 mile an hour winds that we experienced on Tuesday the 7th. We had a very robust, like Director Tyler spoke, a robust helicopter and fixed wing retardant response to this incident. We were able to put in tens of thousands of gallons of retardant on the side of the river because the fire was moving. It was really the aircraft into all of those ground resources, which allowed us to get the upper hand. Because had you been here a few hours ago, the situation looked much different, and it certainly looked much more threatening.
And Chief Maroney, what are the biggest challenges heading into the night?
Well, into the night, it's going to be making sure that we can rest our crews that have been out there since 10:42 this morning, making sure we can feed them. Firefighting is dirty and dangerous work, but we got to rotate our crews through so we can have, a lot of production and efficiency throughout the night. We're going to take advantage of the lower temperatures and hopefully the reduced wind speeds and the higher humidities to try to get an upper hand.
Okay, thank you. And Sheriff Luna, this is for you. With the 5 reopening, will there still be no access to those neighborhoods now that people will be driving up and down those roads? So getting off at Parker, Lake Hughes, Hasley, all those evacuation order areas, just because the 5's open, is that still going to be blocked off?
We're assessing that now to make sure, but we'll have a lot of presence. If you are coming into the area, be ready to be challenged, meaning in a polite way, to find out if you actually live here. Be ready to show identification because we want to make sure that we're limiting the people who are coming in and out, and it's people who actually belong here.
I guess this question might be for you, Sheriff, since you guys handle evacuations. I'm Craig with KNX News. When it comes to the idea of evacuation, some people are stubborn. They don't want to go. Have you seen a change in attitude with this fire and now because of the terrible devastation, the death toll, and the fact people are panicked because of the Eaton fire and the Palisades fire?
I haven't received that assessment yet, but I will in the next couple of hours to see how we did on this one. Our deputy sheriffs do amazing work. And yes, whether it was the Palisades fire in Malibu Lost Hills for us, and the Eaton fire in Altadena, our deputies' jobs, they get evacuation orders and they refuse to leave. They think that they're going to be okay. I know I told a story earlier of a situation in the Altadena area where we were directing people to evacuate, and they refused to. And the deputy felt that they were in such danger that he actually threatened them with arrest. There was an argument between a wife and a husband. Wife saying, hey, we should listen. They listened, they left, and they are now crediting the deputy sheriff for saving their life because that house and neighborhood completely burned down. Those are the challenges that we face, but you've heard it here over and over. And really the message is simple. If there's an evacuation order, please leave. Do not put your life at risk. Do not put the life of first responders at risk. It's not worth it. And I'm even pushing it that if you're in an evacuation warning, you should also leave. Gather your most important items, medicines, important paperwork, pets, chargers for your phone, and get out of the area. Don't sit there and argue. It is not worth it.
Camilla Rambaldi with NBC4. My question is for Fire Chief Maroney. You talked about some of the wind conditions and the plan going into the evening hours and tomorrow. At this point, are there any additional concerns that you have in battling this fire?
No additional concerns. The situation that we're in today is much different than the situation we were in 16 days ago. We have so many resources from Northern California, from the Western United States, international resources, aircraft resources, the number of helicopters and fixed wing retardant tankers that are available to us really allow us to attack a fire like this and have it laid down right as we reach nightfall. It was a monumental work from the firefighters that were on scene, our law enforcement, our sheriff's deputies, the CHP. They did great work today, and it was a good example of what we can do when we have enough people and when we have enough aircraft.
David Gonzalez with ABC7. Chief Maroney, and open this up to Garcia and Tyler as well. You mentioned the importance of giving your fire crews a break. It's been 2 very tough weeks for your fire crews. How's the morale of your firefighters? It seems that this fire popped up and the first thing people thought of is, here we go again. How are your fire crews doing? And just how do you tackle this to keep them motivated?
Yeah, their morale is excellent. And firefighters and sheriff's deputies, they never give up. And they're ready to keep doing it until the the weather changes. We do have rain that's predicted for this weekend. It was light to moderate. I think it's being bumped up to moderate. It's hard to believe that we might have rain Saturday, Sunday, and Monday when we have fire weather on Wednesday. The firefighters have all banded together along with their law enforcement brothers and sisters, and they're out there. They've been on the line since January 7th, that Tuesday. Many of my LA County firefighters worked 9 days in a row before their first day off. That's 9 24-hour shifts in a row. They left their families. They missed important engagements. They missed birthdays to protect the residents of LA County. And that's what LA County firefighters do, and they're just like the other firefighters that Chief Garcia represents, or that Director Joe Tyler represents, or the deputies and the law enforcement officers that Sheriff Luna represents. They're tireless, they're driven, and they've done an amazing job over the last 16 days. So proud of them and the work that they've done.
I guess that's going to be it for today. Today's Wednesday. I'd set the podcast, but maybe third, I'm not sure. Maybe tomorrow I'll do some more streaming for the Senate. But we'll see. See how everyone continues to do so. Thank you, guys. I'll talk to you pretty shortly. And eggs on a swivel. Into the